Original gangster.
Motherfucking Ice-T. In the building for the Iron Rapaport Stereo Podcast. I appreciate you coming through.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This is like, yo, you're iconic. You're like actually like an icon. Like a true icon. Grammy nominated again.
You know what? Trip off this. They just called us today and asked us to perform.
Wait a second. you guys are going to perform Black Hoodie?
In the pre-show. 70% of the Grammys don't get shown. So, when they do metal, when they do hip-hop, stuff like that, it's usually before the show. But there's still 3,000 people in attendance, and, it goes out. Now we have the internet and all that other stuff, so it doesn't really matter. But the simple fact that the Grammys even have my number, like
crazy.
They're calling and they're excited about it, and I'm like, you talk a lot of shit about all these awards till you get nominated. You got a lot of fuck the Academy. What? I go, huh? What? Then the whole thing changes because we all want to be respected for our work. I mean, we try to play the game. We don't care, but if somebody says, Mike, you're going to get an award for your podcast, you feel good about that.
Absolutely.
You're like, yo, I work, I'm being recognized. And, but we're still kind of in disbelief. But yeah, man, I'm just.
Have you ever gotten a Grammy nomination before?
No, I've won a Grammy.
You won a Grammy for?
Back on the Block with Quincy Jones.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie to you, cause I don't lie. I just kick thick game. Some people say why? Cause I'm back on the block, I got my life back. So I school the fools about the fast track. I get static from my style and my technique. Profanity, the blatant way in which I speak. But the dude knows the streets ain't no kiddie game. You don't know the dude? Quincy's his first name. He told me, Ice, keep doing what you're doing, man. Don't give a damn if the squares don't understand. You let them tell you what to say and what to write. Your whole career will be over by tomorrow night.
And that was kind of cool, but that was Quincy. Quincy can get you into anything.
Right.
Quincy can get you into a party in the Hamptons you can't get into, So, for instance, Quincy, but it was an honor to work with Quincy. I won that with Melly Mel, Kumo D, and Big Daddy Kane. And I got the Grammy. I actually broke that Grammy in a video, just being on some old Ice-T shit, just. It's you go through those phases in your career where you just fuck everything,
right?
And so this one is different though because first it's best performance in metal. So you got a lot of people right now like, how is Ice getting the metal? People are just waking up to Body Count. We've been out 20 years,
right?
So people are like, what? And it's just odd, man. It's just odd. I mean, I've never really made mainstream music. I'm on a mainstream television show, but my music has always been no radio play, just harsh, what I wanted to say. And for something as distinguished as the Grammys to turn around and say, we're going to nominate Black Hoodie, which is a song about my friend, getting shot by the cops for no reason, and killed. And, in the song, we never really attack the cops. I mean, we say, at the end of the song, we say, nobody had a clue. Nobody fucking marched. This never made the news. It was more about me saying, this kind of stuff is just now hitting the news, but this happens.
Right.
In a real way. Hey, Mike, I'm just right now, it's like, it's crazy. It's like the longer I live, the better my life is getting. It's like things are just, it's like I'm a late bloomer.
Do you think that's crazy though? Like, you've been so outspoken about, like first when you were rhyming, just the police brutality and, and then with the body count and now with this, and we're living in a day and age where I can't make heads or fucking tails, man. You're an OG, literally. Yeah. Like, what do you make of the dichotomy? Because we have more freedom for anybody to say whatever the fuck they want.
Right.
On the internet, on fucking videos, the president.
Right.
But then there's also some sort of weird sort of like parameters where you can't say shit. You can't, like, I don't know what to make, like the shit that you were rapping about when you first started.
Yeah.
Like even like, oh, like the pimp, like we're in a place like pimping. Like what, I don't know what even, like, where are we at?
It's very strange. I can't really explain it, you know. Like, I feel like my generation was pussies to the people like my father who marched in the civil rights days, you know. You know, they were really out there on the front line. So then in their attitude, they're like, well, all y'all doing is rapping about it, you know. So, you know, because they were really out there in the front line. So I think as we get more free speech, it's like we take less action, you know. I remember when Kanye West said, the president don't like black people. And people were like, oh my God. Like, that was like some really tremendous shit. And I'm like, wait a minute, dude. I was out with Public Enemy on tour and they were hanging a Klansman on stage. Like, you know what I'm saying? So now if somebody comes out and says the slightest little thing, it's taken as super controversial.
Right.
Now, people like yourself and me, we're angry old men. We're angry old men, and they're like, whatever, you know, they're just rambling and shit. But when there's a problem, they call me. They call Ice Cube. They call KRS-One. They call Public Enemy. And my thing is like, we need some 20-year-old kids to come out and really kick some ass. I mean, if there was a right now, people say, what does hip hop need? They need a 20-year-old Public Enemy. They need a young sister. They need a young 20-year-old Lauryn Hill. They need, you know, not taking nothing away from Kendrick, taking nothing away from J. Cole, because those two brothers are really out there making some moves, but they need that militant aggression, you know, or a white kid, just like, you know, like you're an OG to me because you've been there the whole time.
Right.
All right. And everybody who was there knows who was there and knows who wasn't.
Right.
Like, you knew. Who are you, motherfucker? You knew. You just popped up. You write for this magazine. I don't know you. Right. Like, you wasn't around, you know, back in the Latin Quarter days and when people was really, you know, when hip hop, you could get your fucking throat cut, you know, or get your chain snatched, $150, Decepticons, Supreme Magnetic and New York and LA when the gangs was active. Fuck pre-truce. I mean, when it was active, where me, Snoop, none of us was wearing colors. Right. You know, when you would see all the L, you look at Ice-T, I would wear red and then blue, then red and blue, because it was too real. I was trying to go for diplomatic immunity. So I sit up every day. You know what I do, Mike? I wake up every day and really check the news for a mushroom cloud. I check and make sure.
Nothing bad, right?
Well, let's start at the worst shit.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I know exactly what the fuck you're saying. Like, you check to make sure, like, everything is, we're going to function through the day.
Yeah, because I've gotten
it's fucked up.
I've gotten past our president. I've realized he works for sound bites. I realize every day he's going to say something worse than the day before. But speaking of pimps, one of my pimp buddies told me, he says, Ice, you know, I was talking about the president. He said, hey, man, when you stand and waist up in liquid shit, nobody can see the dirt on you. So it's kind of like once you're so dirty, you can't get any more dirty. And he's so dirty that it doesn't matter anymore. You see, a clean person, like we've noticed, a clean person, a speck of dirt can take them out. A speck of dirt. But once you that filthy, what the fuck can you say? They done sent every missile at him they can. I mean, the lowest one of all is child molestation. That's about the lowest. That's about the lowest shit you can do.
This fucking Roy Moore dude, they're like acting like, yo, this is crazy.
I think, put it like this, even me with all my background, if any of that shit got leveled at me, I'd be gone. I'd be gone. They like, well, Ice, you was a gang member. Ice, you was in the streets. But no, I ain't never whooped on no women. I ain't never done none of that bullshit. I've never done, look, Mike, let's keep it 100. I grew up around some most savage individuals in South Central LA. I played the whole bubble, New York, Chicago. I have never heard no motherfuckers in the street said, I'll grab a girl in the pussy. Ever. I've heard motherfuckers say, I'll grab her ass, grab her titty, but grab a woman in the pussy.
Grab her by the pussy.
Who says some shit like that? Like, in the grimiest situation. I don't care if you're in prison. Come on, Mike. Stop it.
It's fucking crazy, man. Listen, you're on a TV show, the most successful TV show ever. Like SVU, Law Order SVU. How many years?
19.
You've been on that show 19 fucking years.
Yes, I went on the last episode of the first season to only do 4 episodes. It's my 5th show with Dick Wolf. I started doing New York Undercover. I did 3 episodes there. Then I did like you came on SVU, I did a guest star on a show he had called Swift Justice. Then one on SVU, Exiled with Chris Knopf.
Right.
Then I had my own show called Players with Costas Mandelar and Frank Hughes. And when that was over, he said, Ice, I wish I had a stronger vehicle for you. Now, you know, that's the executive bullshit usually, like, peace.
That ain't the bullshit with this fucking.
Not with Dick Wolf.
Because, just the fact that he gave you that little, like, he fucks with you.
Well, you know what? Dick Wolf, if he could actually cast people right out the penitentiary, he likes authenticity. That's his shit. So he understood that I was authentic to an extent. Now, the thing of it is that if you cast a street cat as a street cat, there's a little level of acting, but not as much. Cast me as a school teacher. Cast me as a cop.
Right.
What happens is you get a cop with an interesting dynamic. A cop that reach over and bust you in your fucking head.
Right.
And that's how the real cops are.
Right.
You know, and as you raise crime, you raise the level of police. Like I was in crime and we were dealing with the DEA and the ATF. And when you run into them guys, you think you're dealing with some street thugs. Like, because that's how they get down.
Right.
So he felt that and gave me the chance. And I took 4 episodes and I just stayed on it, man, because, you know, I'm black. I don't jump off a boat while it's still floating. And all my friends that do movies are calling me, asking me for money. So, yeah, because you could get a movie. Let's say you get a movie, you get $500,000, but you might get 1 movie that year. You might get 2. Where I'm on 23 episodes and I'm, you know, my rate has escalated, you know, even if it only went up 5% every year, 19 years, that shit's going up 100%.
Yo, 19 years on a fucking TV show is, that's like the dream fucking, like, because you're on a schedule. You know when you're going to start. You know when you're going to stop. You know when you got hiatus. You know,
it's like a real job.
It's like a real dope job.
It's a good look. I never thought I would enjoy it so much. Being in music is different. You know, you spend a couple years making a record that you hope sells. It's like a gamble. You hope people want it. Where this is like, you know, when they say 23 episodes at X amount per episode, you take that to the bank.
Right.
That's a job.
Right.
And it allows you to forecast your future, where you're going to be. Then I got 2.5, 3 months off of hiatus, which allows me to tour. Episodic drama. I'm not in every scene.
Right.
They're filming today.
Right.
You dig? So it's a nice job. Here's another. I got a record. I'm the longest running black actor in television history. But only reason is because I'm on a show that's the longest running. Nobody can get that record unless they get on a show that goes. So Dick Wolf said, well, if you word it right, you can give yourself any kind of record. You know?
Right. But that's like, it's crazy. And the fact that it's you, because, you know, like when you first came out, like you were like fucking scary. Like when Colors and 6 in the morning, and like to find like mainstream through a television show, which is on NBC internationally.
But Mike, I was scary to people that just wasn't familiar with that world.
Right. But you were hard body.
Real cats, but you know,
your image.
Real cats know that people meet me all the time. They go, you nice, are you cool? I'm like, well, you're not my enemy, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't got nothing but love for people, man. You know what I'm saying? But then if shit popped off, you would love to have me around you because I'm very seasoned in that shit too. You dig? So, but, you know, I don't want no drama, man. I was just a youngster that was really angry about a lot of the situations that was going on around us. Myself, NWA, all the early hip hop, and we kind of forced change.
Right.
We forced change. We made motherfuckers listen to us and understand. And now, you know, like somebody asked me the other day, they say, you know, when you was coming up, I said, man, I didn't have no option. There were no rappers. I never thought I could be a rapper. I wasn't, you know, good enough in sports that I was going to play sports. I was always hustlers. The hustlers was shining in the neighborhood. And that's something that doesn't require an application. You just get in. And, you know, when rap kind of opened the door and I felt there was something I could do, I tried. See, the beauty of hip hop is a culture and an art form that is tangible. Mm-hmm. It's not like opera, like I can't sing opera. When you see a rapper, and it has 4 doors, you see graffiti, well, maybe I could draw, or maybe I could dance, or maybe I could be a DJ. And most of us tried a lot of them, you know? And then you find one, and, you know, and then what happened is you get, you know, entranced in hip hop. And then me, myself, I had a abundance of information that hadn't really brought into hip hop because I was in the streets.
Right.
So
what year is this? What was your first song? What year?
80,
I mean, what?
82.
80 fucking 2.
Yeah.
And so at this point, hip hop is tiny.
Nobody had bought a car.
Nobody
had bought a car off hip hop yet.
Nobody.
Nah, nobody was making no money with it. It was fun. It was kids. Also, remember, it's a youth-based culture, so it was almost like being about money wasn't cool. It was about the skills and the art and you know.
And there wasn't even 50 fucking hip hop songs at the time. Like I think if we did the math, 1982, there probably wasn't even 50 actual hip hop songs.
Oh no, there were the songs. They just weren't records.
Right.
There were songs because it was being done in Bronx. It was on tapes,
right?
And stuff.
But I'm saying, like, as far as like songs, like that were actually like it was like Rapper's Delight, you know, Grandma's. Like it was. I'm saying, like there wasn't. It was so fucking small. How did you get it in your head? Like, yo, I'm gonna do this shit. And being in LA, it's like the Bronx and New York is so fucking far. Had you ever even been to New York?
No, I was in the Army. This what happened was I was in the Army. When I got out of high school, I got my girlfriend pregnant. So I decided, you know, I got to join the military. I got to do something to be responsible because of these streets. You know, I was a small time hustler. There was no real money being made. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to do something. Kids make you gain a little bit of responsibility.
Right.
So I was like, you know, I got to do something. So I went in the military, joined the infantry, and while I was in the Army, I was stationed at 25th Infantry in Hawaii. You're stationed with people from all over. So New York cats had rap tapes.
Oh, shit.
Now, I come out of the Army, I bought a whole bunch of stereo equipment. My first agenda was to be a DJ. So I was going to throw parties like Uncle Jam's Army and stuff like that. That was my first agenda. But when I heard Sugar Hill Gang, you know, like Lord Jamar said, you had the do-it-yourself version on the other side. You flip the record over, you know. Now, I had already been saying rhymes, but I was saying gangbanger rhymes. Now, I was doing that in high school pre-rap, where I would say stuff like, strolling through the city in the middle of the night, niggas on my left and niggas on my right, yelling, rip. To every nigga I see, if you bad enough, come fuck with me. Seen another nigga, I say crip again. He say, fuck a crip, nigga, this is Brim. So we pulled out the Roscoe's. Roscoe said, crack. I look again, nigga was shooting back. So we fell to the ground, aimed for his head. One more shot, nigga was dead. So we walked over to him, took his gun, spit in his face, and began to run. So when you see another nigga laying dead in the street in a puddle of blood, from his head to his feet. Hope it's time all you busters get hip. This fuck a Brim, nigga. This West Side, rolling 60. Come rip. Now, that was pre-rap, pre-anything. You just saying that in high school. They're like toasts. And I had a lot of them. So when I heard hip-hop, I was like, I could do that. But my shit is not syncopated to a beat. So I had to kind of teach myself how to rap on beat. Some people still don't think I know how to do that. But that was my brain saying I could probably do that.
This is all in your head though, like you want to do this.
Well, come on. Hip hop is when you first see it, you want to be involved.
Right.
When I saw the New York City Breakers on That's Incredible, I was in awe.
Right.
Hip hop is not a normal culture. It's like when you see it, you're like, I need to be part of this.
Right.
It's so dope. It was just so dope to me being on the West Coast. Now, West Coast, we had dancers and stuff like that, but it was enough of what we had been doing to be like, we need to be part of this. And you couldn't front on the music. So now here I am. I'm a try to DJ, but I can rap. I think I found myself speaking on the microphone at my parties more than the DJing. So then I figured out, instead of carrying these speakers around, I could go from party to party and just say rhymes and build my name. And that's when I started. Now in LA, you do house parties, which basically, you're not in the house. You're in the garage behind the house in that driveway. Mm-hmm. You know, that's how they throw house parties in LA, because moms ain't letting all the motherfuckers up in the house. So I would go in the garage in the back and I'm rapping and shit. And I learned how to get the reverb and all the echoes and all that shit, you know, because I'm basically not biting New York, but learning from New York.
Right.
But I was saying rhymes about New York, like party rhymes. I still didn't, my shit didn't click. And then my homie's like, say that shit you be saying when we in the crib. Say that gangster shit. I'm like, nobody wants to hear that. He's like, Ice, say that shit. So one night we went to a club and we bought the microphone. Now, people don't know what buying a mic is. We just walked up into the DJ booth and they said, no rapping. We say, here's $500. Next thing you know, we got the mic. They here you go. We got the mic. So now we just bought it. So all night I'm giving out shouts to my partners. I became the MC of the club, and then we started saying our gangster shit, and the crowd was starting to bug out like, yo, this that killer shit. Who are these niggas over here? And that progressed to the song 6 in the Morning, which was a B-side that was never supposed to happen. We just had an 808, and my boy Randy Mack, he's a barber right now, was like, say that shit. And I didn't, it just took off, Mike. I didn't, it's kind of like if you make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches every day, this is what you make, but you got a restaurant down the street with fine cuisine. And then somebody comes over, I'm like, you need to sell these peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. You're like, get the fuck out of here. This is. So once I just started talking my regular bullshit, that was it. And it was like a blessing, because I'm like, I got tons of this shit.
Right.
This is what they like?
6 in the morning, police at my door. Fresh Adidas squeak across the bathroom floor. Out my back window, I'll take my escape. Didn't even get a chance to grab my old school tape. Mad with no music, but happy 'cause free. And the streets to a player is the place to be. Got a knot in my pocket weighing at least $1,000. Gold on my neck, my pistol's close at hand. I'm a self-made monster of the city streets, remotely controlled by hard hip-hop beats. But just living in the city is a serious task. Didn't know what the cops wanted, didn't have time to ask.
I'm in, man. I'm in there like swimwear. And then that was the birth of the Ice-T. And also my image came from Russell Simmons, because I used to try to dress like New York rappers. In Breaking 2, I had spikes on like Melly Mel, because you got to remember, I wanted to be a rapper. I wanted to be like New York. There was no West Coast, so you figure you got to be like them. And I was at this club called Casa Camino Royale, and there were rappers performing, and Rush was in the house. And I was just there on my regular shit. I had on like a black leather trench coat and a hat, and you know, and motherfuckers called me on stage. And I went up there in my street clothes and tore shit down. And Rush was like, that's your image. Fuck all this hip hop shit. You the LA player. You that shit.
Russell said this.
Russell told me, he says, fuck the costumey shit, Ice. Just come, you should roll on stage like that. And I did. I listened to him. Glenn, you know Glenn Friedman? Mm-hmm. Glenn told me.
Photographer, right?
Yes. Glenn told me take my sunglasses off. He says, Ice, you wearing the shades and shit, that's cool, but have you ever been in a show where a motherfucker took his, just looked at you and you felt like he was singing to you? He said, you singing hard shit. Make eye contact with the biggest, baddest motherfuckers in there, and you run that shit right down their throat like you'll murder them right there in that fucking place. And he says, that's when you're gonna elevate. And I used to come.
Shut the fuck up.
I used to come out, shades just, for the look. But then, first song I'm off, and now just making that eye contact. And so I take advice from people. That's very important in this game.
That's fucking dope, man. You fucked my head up with that shit. You fucked my head up with that shit because, just the hip hop part of it, the 80s hip hop part of your career before New Jack City, before you started acting, is like, the Arsenio Hall show, the whatever show. You've been on the Phil fucking Donahue show. You've been on every. I
did Merv Griffin.
You fucked with Merv?
Yeah. Griffin.
What year was that?
I don't know. He leaned forward and he was talking to me and shit. When
you're doing that, were you like, what the fuck is going on here?
You know what? I just knew I was out of trouble. And my boys were all going to the penitentiary and they were just like, Ice, man, you got action, man. All the player needs is his health and his freedom, man. And that's action. And from there, you can take it anywhere. And don't come up in here with us, man. White people like you, man. You got action. Now, when they say white people like them, that's a sad thing because they're feeling like we don't have the chance to make it. They'll let you in, and if you can get in, now I employ all of them. So they were smarter than me because I was really kind of like full focus street. Full focus. And I was, now as a grown man, I know how silly I was because my numbers were fucked up, like how much I thought I needed to get to be a big, and I run through that in 6 months now. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, it's just being young and what you think is cool and how, and all those things, they readjust. I always tell people, I'm like, go back to when you were 18 and tell me what percentage of the stuff you thought was correct.
Right. I was at my dumbest at 18.
Right.
I was literally at my dumbest. And one of the reasons why I was at my dumbest because I thought I knew everything.
Right. Well, I do lectures and I speak, and I've created, I think there's 4 stages of growth, which is infancy, where you're just non and void. Adolescence, where you fucking think you know everything. Adulthood is when you realize everything you thought in adolescence was wrong. And then there's one more, which I call adult infancy. It's when you finally just give up and say, I don't know shit. I can't tell you what's going to happen tomorrow. So that I think that's where we are now with this year. We're all realizing we're adult infants.
Right. Right.
Like everything you think nothing has to happen. It goes along with another one of my mottos, which is you don't guide life, you ride life. And none of us, me, you never thought you'd be doing a podcast. They didn't even know what a podcast was.
I never thought I'd be doing a podcast. I never thought I'd be doing a fucking podcast with motherfucking Ice-T.
See?
You remember we saw him at UCLA? There was like that UCLA, that fair we were there with Sean Higgins. Yep. I remember you were Ice-T and you were with Darlene.
It's my son's mom.
And you were Ice-T. And it was just 86 in the summer. You walked right by. I was like, oh shit. It was just like a late afternoon at some just fucking chilling. Fair at UCLA. So I never thought, hell fucking no. So going back to what I was initially gonna say, like you were saying, like this crazy time where with these sexual allegations, you're in Hollywood, you're in show business, you're in fucking music business, you're in hip hop, you were in the fucking where anything goes hip hop.
Right.
And like you even said, like, if they look like, did you have that moment? Like, cause I've had it. Fuck, in the 90s, did I?
Oh yeah, can
we start doing like a checklist?
The ghost of pussy past. What the fuck? Or you worry. I know I never done no crazy shit like that. That never was.
But they're getting people for saying shit.
Well, I think they more into getting squares because they know it's not big news to get Snoop for saying some shit. You know what I'm saying? We kind of like are known for a bunch of bullshit. But as far as putting our hands on people and all that stuff, I always kept the motto Iceberg Slim, where he said a player should have a raw sense of sexuality, which puts a nun's morality to the test over long exposure.
That's pimping.
So my thing is, if I hung around a nun long enough, she gonna jump my bones.
Right.
You dig? I always felt that was the way to deal with women. Just be fly, and eventually they're gonna make the move. I never wanted to seem like the horny guy. I also feel that guys that can't talk touch. You know, they test out. I've been around gropey guys. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you can't just, you know. So I know that get down, but never been my get down, you know. But then at the end of the day, you can't unring a bell. God forbid somebody just comes out and makes an allegation. Then you caught in the mix, you know. So
and today, allegation is, it's like you're guilty.
well, you know, it's an allegation and it's the multiple allegations that get you. So the first allegation, that don't really stick.
You could fend that off.
But then here it comes, you know, 50. Like, yo, son, like, you know, I was kind of like, I wasn't really on Bill Cosby like that, but I was like, damn, no, son, 50. But then I also, you know, and I'm no way condoning Bill Cosby in any form or fashion. But then all them ladies was in the room with a married man, too. So I think maybe that's one of the reasons they didn't come out early, because there's a little dirt on their situation, too. And a lot of times I tell women, like, if you put yourself in a bad situation, in other words, you know, you cheating on your man or something like that, well, then that person knows you don't want to tell.
Right.
So now you're putting yourself into a situation. So, you know, I taught my daughter, I said, you know, never get on the elevator. I said anything that has to happen out with a guy can happen downstairs in the bar. If you get on the elevator, ain't nothing upstairs but a bed, you know. So, and then people say, well, that's victim blame. I say, no. I mean, you have daughters. You just have to tell them, like, don't get on the elevator. If you get on the elevator, where are you going?
Well, what do you think about, like you said, like, oh, that's victim blame? Like, every fucking couple of weeks, there's this new, well, that's victim blame. And there's new catchphrases. And, like, I don't know what to do, man. Like, I don't know what to do, because I think it's gotten fucking out of hand. Listen, if you put your hands on a woman, yo, that's not cool.
That's not cool.
In any way, shape, or form. You know, but like are we losing our sexuality? Like, how do you court a woman? How do you approach a woman?
It's scary. I mean, it's scary. It's nerve-wracking.
I'm married. I'm just saying, like, in terms of general shit.
I'm glad I'm married.
Me too. I've never been more happy to be fucking married. Like, out of this fucking shit. Like, we're on film sets. I heard, like, on some film sets, they're like on some no hugging shit. I'm like, so if you hug a co-star goodbye, and it's like literally, like, we've hugged every day goodbye. Like, and I just don't know what the, like, do you give like a pound, like a fist pound, like with arm's distance?
I mean, you just got to be cautious now. It's serious business. And, you know, when you're on a TV show, they have this sexual harassment seminar. I know you sat through them. And it says you're not supposed to, you got to be careful of jokes, massages. Like, you know, walk up behind somebody and start giving them a massage. They might not want that. You know, me, myself, man, I just stay to myself.
Right.
On all levels, not just this. Right now, all this TMZ shit, I'm just trying to stay out the way.
Right.
I'm just trying to stay out the way. I want to be acknowledged for work, what I want to be acknowledged for. I don't need that sideline press, Ice-T did this, Ice-T did that, because it doesn't add up to anything but drama and problems and stuff. So, you know, it's just wild. It's wild right now. You know, I don't really know what to say about it. I'm lost for words. I'm just like, you know, man, listen. And every day somebody else knew. You know, I heard. Well, I don't even like saying their names, because then I'm feeding into it. See?
Right.
So it's that bullshit. It's crazy. They got us trapped. You know,
got us fucking
I'm about
trapped.
to say somebody's name.
No, I
I'm
know.
like, I don't want to say their name.
I know, it's fucked up. So you've had chaos in your career in terms of, like, when the body count shit came out, you know, and I've heard you talk about it before. Was there ever, like, and the controversy and the blowback from the police and after the riots, and was there ever a point where you were like, yo, I was just trying to, like, I've taken things too far. I'm afraid, like, I'm gonna get fucking, you know, they're gonna put me in, like, I don't know where.
It was unexpected.
Because that was crazy. Like, the Rolling Stone cover and that whole time.
It was unexpected. Like, I just thought what I was singing was fair game as far as rock and roll. You know, I'm familiar with Dead Kennedys. I'm familiar with Black Flag. I'm familiar with, you know, even Millions of Dead Cops. There's a band with the name that. I was like, no, cops is fair game. This is rock and roll. You don't like the establishment, the system, whatever.
Right. I got my black shirt on. I got my black gloves on. I got my ski mask on. This shit has been too long. I got my 12-gauge sawed off. I got my headlight turned off. I'm out to bust some shots off. I'm out to dust some cops off. I'm a cop killer, better you than me. Cop killer, fuck police brutality. Cop killer, I know your family's grieving. Fuck 'em. Cop killer, but tonight we get even.
So when they came after us, I was unprepared. I didn't make that record saying, "Oh, yo, they're gonna come after us."
Right.
I just thought it was a protest record and stuff, and it just started to just like roll. Like it got more and more and more, and I think it came at me. I kind of feel like I got the Willie Horton treatment. Like, you know, the cops are under siege right now, so let's go after Warner Brothers. Let's go after this record. I mean, the Fraternal Order of Police made that record more popular. That record was over. It did its curve. I sung it on Lollapalooza, but they were saying like, let's attack Ice-T, and it was weird. It was weird. I don't advise people to use controversy for publicity because it has a blowback. I mean, it made it hard for us to tour, blackballs you in a lot of places. But we didn't it wasn't our attempt to create controversy. It was our attempt to make a statement. And that, you know, some people just want to go and say something provocative and just get the attention to them. Don't do that. You're going to regret that. That's not the way to do it. It's not a publicity stunt. If you don't mean it from the heart, if you're not willing to stand by it when that shit hits you, you're going to be sorry you did it. You got to be able to stand by it.
Did you get caught off guard when it got so big and like it was like
Caught off guard? I was playing, my boys were playing Techno Bowl, and we were playing Techno Bowl upstairs. I'm sitting there watching, and then the homies downstairs were in the studios like, yo, Ice, motherfucker, president is on TV talking about you. That's how off guard we were. And we changed the channel, and it was Dan Quayle. And he was like, da-da-da-da, and Ice-T, and everybody in this room was like, oh, shit. Like, you know, like, oh, and it wasn't like Trump who might say Michael Rapaport tomorrow. Like,
right.
It was like a president. Bush don't say your name, you know? You were like, oh, fucking shit. And, you know, the moment a real president does it, you know, Trump could say anybody's name. He goes after Nordstrom's and shit. But when the real president says your name, immediately you get checked out by every bureau. Every bureau, CIA,
right.
DA. I mean, you know, because his next question could be, what do we know about him? It can't be like, I think he's a blogger or I think he has a podcast. It's got to be, his shoe size is this, his blood type is this is who he is, his mother's maiden name. That's how the government operates. When they run that background check on you, you feel it.
So how did you feel it?
I got tax audited twice in 1 year. They came and got my daughter out of school and questioned her. They wanted to find out if I was really a threat to, like, was I trying to promote cop killing? Was this a movement?
Were you like scared? Like, yo, what the fuck?
I wasn't scared.
Like, what's gonna happen? Like,
I was like bugged out. I was more like bugged out because I knew I wasn't really, you know, some cult leader or something. It was a song. We were past the song.
Right.
But, you know, you got ice cream trucks sitting in front of your house in the middle of the winter, shit like that.
They were like watching you.
They wanted to see. They had to do their due diligence on me until they realized I wasn't really a threat in that regard. I was just a loudmouth motherfucker talking shit, you know. But I wasn't, you know, stocking arms or out to really kill any police, because the song Cop Killer wasn't even about me. It was about a character that I created. I was singing Psycho Killer by Talking Heads in rehearsal. And my drummer's like, yo, we need a cop killer. I'm like, why? And he said, yo, you know, cops out here disrespecting motherfuckers, shot my man and his girl the other day. But what if, in my brain started working, I'm like, what if somebody snapped over that shit? And out came this character that went after him. It wasn't me. But see, one of the things about being a rapper, being just a black person, they don't think you possess artistic qualities. It's just, everything is just simple. It's got to be what it is. There can't be any, intelligent conversation going on here. So, but it was a protest record about a man that I created that snapped over police brutality. It wasn't me. I never said, let's go cop killing or you should kill a cop. It was that particular character. Just like Black Hoodie isn't a song about, it's just a song about a situation that happened. You call it how you see it. You dig? So I kind of always like to leave stuff up for the listener to make their decision.
Do you think that like cops, it goes without saying, the majority of cops are good? Do you,
True.
And that they're good people, they're brave, they're actual heroes. And when
Absolutely.
And when the shit hits the fan, they're going to be the first people that everyone's going to call to help.
Thing of it is, I don't hate cops. I never have hated cops. I used to be a criminal, and the cops were the opponent, not the enemy, the opponent. That's a difference. A difference is a punk that goes out and he's smoking weed on the corner and he gets busted. He's like mad at the cops. Yo, you knew this shit was illegal. Cops doing his job. Now, if me and you are about to take down a bank over here, we know the cops are in our way,
right.
But they're not the enemy. They're the opponent.
Right.
We gonna beat them now. If we get caught, we cuff up and we play Law and Order. That's how real gangsters operate. It's not mad at the police. Because if it wasn't illegal, there would be no profit margin. You understand? So we are aware of them. They're an obstacle, but there's no hatred. You understand? There's no hatred. So, and now I'm legit. I don't break the law. I'm square as a pool table, twice as green, and I need them not to tow my car right now. You know what I'm saying? But, when I was going through it, a lot of police came to me and made me understand, ICE, we know the cops you're singing about, and we don't take the song personally. We know who they are. That we know them on our force. Other cops took offense to it and, can't wait to see me fail still to today,
right.
But when you're Colin Kirkpatrick or you're anybody and you decide you're going to make a statement against something, you got to be willing to take the hit. That's one thing I always tell these people. Don't think that your protest comes without resistance. You have to be willing to take the hit. That's why you get the points. You can't be like, I'm going to say it and nothing's going to happen to me. Well, then you're delusional. If you say something anti-gay, you're about to get attacked. Hopefully you believe the bullshit you said, because you basically now are going to have to fight. And I hate when people say shit then they backtrack. Oh, I didn't mean it. No, I never said I didn't mean it. I'm just clarifying the position of where the song came from.
Right.
And you take it or leave it.
This Kaepernick thing that's been, it feels like it's been going on for 20 years. It's literally just been going on for a year with Kaepernick. Do you think that, how do you think this is going to end? Like, he's winning so many awards. He's getting so much acknowledgement. But he's so vilified. And you know what it's like to be vilified. People forget that when Muhammad Ali first spoke out, he was not the loved.
No, people hated Muhammad Ali. They hated him just for changing his name.
Right.
My thing with Kaepernick is I didn't know whether to believe how sincere he was about it until, he really stayed down with it. He had the big afro. I'm like, okay, is this a stunt? I just wanted to know. I didn't know. I don't know, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I know you better than I know, dude.
Right.
So if somebody said, well, Mike's doing this, I'll be like, yeah, but I know, dude, and that's probably his get down. So this is just a stranger to me. But he stayed down with it, and he seemed sincere with it. Protest is protest. That's all it is. Basically risked his career to protest. Now, it turns around, should he get back in the NFL and all that? Well, you got to understand, NFL is business. And if I become too controversial for business, I'll be politely asked to leave SVU. Mm-hmm. There's a clause in my contract, and I know you've read them before, and it says you cannot bring discredit to the network. Mm-hmm. You've read them.
Yep.
And that's grounds to be left. So you can go wild on your podcast, but if you're signed to one of those contracts and they feel you crossed the line, if I go home and I would have beat my wife up or something like that, or found drunk driving, or something hurt somebody, Law and Order legally can let me go because I'm now putting a black eye in NBC's game.
Right.
I think it happened to Homeboy on CSI.
Yep.
It happened to my man. They said a racial slur, Isaiah.
Yeah, Isaiah Washington.
Yeah, it can happen.
Yes.
So even though it seems like I'm speaking freely and saying crazy stuff, the moment NBC says Ice-T, now you're a discredit to the network, well, that's game over.
Right.
So I respect Colin Kaepernick. I respect all the other NFL players that are out there doing what they feel. I mean, if you're making that kind of money and you're taking the risk to drop to a knee because that's how you feel, you got to respect that.
Right.
You got to respect that.
All right. New York hip hop. I remember when the first time I saw you with Kane.
Yes.
Like you guys connected.
It's a funny story.
Tell me,
Kane's story is really
Give me Big Daddy Kane, because I remember, like, it was so, like, now everything is documented, but like I remember I was like, oh wait, I remember thinking, how the fuck do these guys know each other? Just because one was in LA, one was in New York.
Simple. We were on the same label. It was simple. Me and Kane were on the same label. I was the first rapper signed to Warner Brothers through Sire, which was the record label Madonna, Talking Heads, and Ministry, mostly punk rock and stuff. But I was signed there, and Kane had come up there through Uptown. Not Uptown, Cold Chillin'.
Right.
They were the first deal that Benny Medina hooked up over there. So me and Kane had to go out on a promo tour. So this is funny.
And you guys just must have been fucking pigs and shit. You kindred spirits.
Not right out the gate, because Kane's the god. He's a god, right? I eat pork, right? So Fly Ty was like in the mix, like, yeah, Ice is a talker, and you better, he kind of like briefed Kane like I was gonna try to steal the show, So when I met Kane, I respect Kane. Like, rappers know who can rap. We all know. Like, your baseball player, basketball, who got skills. You can't front. So I met Big Daddy Kane, so immediately I just played fan. I was just like, yo, Kane, I'm a fan. I just came in with all the gratitude that he deserved, right out the gate. Kind of put him off balance. Like, so there was no star shit, because I made him the star. Because to me, he was. I wasn't fronting. So then we started to click, and I kind of told Kane, look, if we go out here and we're cool, I might get some of your fans, you might get some of my fans. If we play like we're not together, we're not gaining nothing. So when we first did the first N store, I had a lot of fans. And I think Kane saw that and was like, oh, Ice-T's pushing some numbers out here. And we just started to get closer and closer and closer over that tour. And that's when we found out we was kindred spirits. He started talking about Dolomite. I started turning them on to Donald Goins and stuff like that. And I started telling Kane, really, you a player. You're a player. You ain't got a name. I'm going to tell you what you are. And I think the proof of that is his next album, Long Live the Kane, where he was like on a throne, pimped out. The first special thanks, which used to be very important back in the day. On those albums, you were looking for your name if you made it. He gave me first special thanks on that album. That was like the biggest shit that had ever happened to me. Before all the Brooklyn cats, it said Ice-T. And I was like, okay. And from then on, me and Kane, like, it's been brothers, had the same kind of flavor, same smooth vibe and stuff. I mean, I can't touch him lyrically. My lyrical style was always like, go heavy. Like, I knew I wasn't capable of verbal gymnastics like Twister or Eminem or none of them. I have a rhyme where I say, I hear your styles, although you rhyme quicker, No matter what you do, I'll always lace mine thicker. Jealousy will make a fool die quicker than liquor. Watch your back with your nigga, because that's right where it'll stick you. So my thing was less words, deeper content. That was how I was going to win in the rap game. Because I had seen people battle and one guy go up and say 30 bars and another dude take him out in 8 bars.
Right.
So I was like, it's all about content. So that was always Ice-T style.
That's fucking dope. Who were the other dudes like that you were rocking with, like in the 80s, like New York dudes that you connected with? Because like I said, I was always tripped out. You know, like you mentioned Latin Quarters. You were at the Quarters. I used to be at the Quarters. Like it was like the crazy thing about being in Latin Quarters is like I never saw you there, but I would see Salt and Pepper there, and there was no red rope. There was no VIP room. Like, they were Salt and Pepper, and I was like, what the fuck? Melly Mel would be walking around freestyling for like fucking 90 minutes with the Lawrence Taylor jersey. And you guys were there. I was 16, 17 years old. Like, you know, like, it was such a special time. I don't even think they served liquor in that spot. There were
Shit was
fights.
wild. It was wild. I remember Red Alert was in there. There are girls snatching ropes right now. There are attention. No. What happened with me was I got put on by Africa Islam.
Right.
I was in LA performing at a club called The Radio, where they ended up making the Breaking movies. This was a club. I had a record out called Cold Wind Madness. They found out I had it. They got me there. I kind of was like the club MC. They brought Cold Crush out there. They brought Bam and them. They brought everybody out there. New York rappers, Jekyll and Hyde, back when Andre
Harrell. Fucking nuts.
So all these cats would come out there, and they was fascinated by me because I was shining, because I was robbing shit. I had a Porsche. I had all the jewelry on. I looked like fucking Eric B. Rakim. I had all the big pieces and everything. So they like, and I was like, I want to be a rapper. They was like, why the fuck you want to be a rapper? Nobody's got money rapping. I'm like, yeah, but I knew that I had to get out of the game. You know, days are numbered in low digits.
Ladies say that I'm heaven sent. Cause I got more money than the U.S. Mint. I ride ragtop road with rocks on my hand. Maserati and Mercedes Benz. I have an ocean line, private jets. Bel Air bookies place my bets. I own island off the coast of France, and I wear designer shirts and pants.
Islam connected to me. The Prince of Charm. He was like, because he was more of a producer. So he was like, look, you know, I'll help you with your music. So I came out on a People Express ticket. I flew out to South Bronx, 156 in Tenton, and I brought my record. Well, I had 6 in the morning. That's what it was. I had 6 in the morning, and I wanted Islam to get it spun. He said, no one's going to spin it till they meet you. You got to come out here. And knowing Africa Islam, him being such a boss, I got to meet New York from the top down. I didn't come out here to kick it with my cousin in Queens who might know how to catch the train to the Latin Quarter. I met Red Alert, Chuck Chill Out. I met
Mr. Magic.
I never personally got to meet Magic.
Oh shit!
But I hung out with Scott LaRock, stuff like that. So I have a crazy story about Scott LaRock. I went to Union Square with Scott LaRock, and you know, my manager George had connected to Scott LaRock and KRS-One early in the day. So I'm at Union Square, Scott's spinning, and I had rolled there with him, right? So then I'm there, and I got my gold chain on. I just bought my gold chain with my pistol, and I'm standing on stage, and he's dropped 6, and everybody's bumping. I'm like, man, I feel so good. I'm in New York. Because being an LA rapper, to have New York accept you, that's the Mecca. That's it. You know, you're getting blessed. It's like you are a rapper, you know, because that's all I ever wanted to do, Mike, is just be named amongst the rappers. Not be the best, just be in the dialogue. So I'm there, and I'm standing there, and everybody's smiling at me. And I'm like, yeah, they feeling me and shit like that. Then about a half hour in, a big guy comes and says, Ice, there's no gold allowed in Union Square. I'm like, holy shit. I'm the only person in here with a gold chain. Now all these smiles turned into sneers. I'm like, these motherfuckers are gonna rob me. Like, they're not smiling, they're growling. So now my chain crawled back into my chest like by itself. It just crawled up my neck and tucked up. So now I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna get stuck. This is a problem. Now I'm standing there. Now, make matters worse, I go to Scott, and Scott's like, yo, I'm about to bounce with this honey, you good? I'm like, fuck, now I'm alone. I can't tell him I'm scared. So I'm like, fuck it. Okay, I'm good. So now I'm walking across. The room is emptying out. I'm like, oh, I know they're here. I know they're just waiting. I'm gonna get hit with a razor. Which side of my neck? I'm like, no.
That's fucking crazy.
And I get to the dance floor, and this one dude walks up to me, goes, yo, Ice, we met you in L.A. We from a group called the Boogie Boys. Fly girl. Fly girl.
Fly girl.
I don't even know dude's name. I was like, oh, my nigga. I grabbed him like, man, dude was my best friend. I had him walk me out the place across to the train platform where I had to catch the 2 train up to the Bronx by myself. That was a night I felt I was going to die.
Yo, that's a fucking good story. Yo, I fainted on stage in Union Square while Sparky D was performing. And I thought I had gotten like knocked out. Like it was just heat. Standing next to this motherfucker in 1986. And you used to watch people get their fucking earrings snatched, women, you know, I mean, and I'm talking about, it's not women, girls. We were fucking kids.
Yeah.
They weren't women. I mean, you know, like I was 16. There'd be like 18-year-old woman with fat ass and fat tits. They look like a woman, but the violence that was right in front of you. Yeah. And you're going to hear music. I was like, what the fuck?
That was hip hop, man. That's why hip hoppers from that era have a bond. I was in Latin Quarter when it was in Times Square, the real Latin Quarter.
Yep.
And so I'm in there with Mel, and I got on another chain situation. You know? Because, see, a gold chain isn't just a gold chain. It's a statement saying, I can wear gold around poor people. It's a statement of your gangster. Like, I am gonna wear it. I tell my son it's like taking $100 bills and sticking it out of your shirt and walking through the projects. It's a statement, you know. Now kids get a rap deal. They buy a hip hop starter kit, you know, some rims for their car, gold chain and stuff. Most of the gold chains in them days were earned from street hustling.
Right.
You know, when you saw the Dominican cats walk in with the jewels on, you knew what that meant. That meant they got money and they not scared. You know, so I'm trying to keep my LA gangster going. I'm in New York. I got my chain out. And this guy comes over. He goes, Supreme wants to talk to you. I'm like, who's Supreme? It's Supreme Magnetic. So I walk over. There's like this little Puerto Rican dude standing there with the biggest chain I ever seen in my life. Like a cable you could like hold a boat to a dock in. And he's standing there. And he's like, yeah, you friends with Eric and Ra? I'm like, yeah. He said, you good. Now, later I found out he was in charge of the Decepticons and was like one of the heaviest cats in New York at the time, Supreme Magnetic, you know, so interesting. You know, I was getting the right passes. I remember one night I was at Latin Quarter, me and MC Light were about to go on stage. First time I ever performed there. And she was back scared, shitless. She was nervous. And I'm like, who's going to go first? You want to go first? I want to go first. And I think she went first and stuff. But they not only boo you off that stage, they'll snatch you off that stage, you know.
That's fucking crazy.
But, you know, I've always been the kind of person that I could meet the right people. My personality is such that, you know, I'm relatively likable. I'm not pushing my weight around on anybody. And, you know, I was always able to meet the right people that helped me in my journey, you know.
Where is hip hop now? Like it's so different than when you started. It's so different. Like there's good, bad, in between. You know, at one point I thought the music business was over. I got a guy in the music business saying like record sales and the way they're doing downloading and all that, it's better than ever. There's more money in music than ever, or it's back. when you look at what's going on with these younger kids now, and the fucking 17-year-old little one, this one, and young, everyone's little this, young this. They get tattoos on their face. They get the hip hop starter kit. Where are we going with this music?
Well, first off, I'm too old to be able to actually understand an 18-year-old's way of thinking. So I have to kind of remove myself from it and look at it as an adult differently, like what they see and what, it's difficult because now I'm mature. Right. Now I see things different. What seems silly to me might not have been silly to me at 18. So when you got these youngsters, really young ones rapping, I had to let them go. I made a comment back in the day about Soulja Boy, which in retrospect, I shouldn't have made because he's a kid. And I'm not supposed to agree with what he does because I'm looking at it from a totally different perspective. I think music has gone where the radio wanted it, which is lack of content or point. Substance. The radio doesn't want that. They never played Ice Cube. They never played KRS-One. They never played Public Enemy, Myself. They don't play those records. They never played Dead Presidents. They never played, Wise Intelligent and Poor Righteous Teeth. They don't play those records. We know that. I think that the production of these records
I agree.
is tremendous. To the point where you don't need the words. I can sit in some of these clubs and just listen to the beats and the tracks and even stuff like with Maybach music, the stuff Rick Ross and them are doing. The production is amazing. DJ Khaled's production is amazing to the point where you can kind of get away with murder. Now there's some really great lyricists out there, the J. Cole's, the Kendrick Lamar's. There's some really. And you've got an incredible amount of underground artists,
right?
The Mortal Techniques and the Tech Nines and Super Beasts, battle rap. You got groups like Slaughterhouse, which is like some of the best rappers in the world, but they're not going to get commercial success unless they put, Beyonce singing on the hook,
right?
So you've kind of gone down a pop wormhole, where. If it's not just pop, it's not going to get that massive publicity. It's hard. I don't really know. I mean, hey, there's a reason I'm on television right now. It's the reason that I do metal. It's because hip hop kind of went into a place that I'm not comfortable. It's not what I do. What I do is music Alchemist makes. What I do is what Mobb Deep does. I do that sinister, scary gangster shit.
Is there room for that in hip hop now?
It is, but you can't expect to make the same record sales because the shock is gone. Once Eminem, remember you said earlier in the interview, people were scared of me, this, that, and the other. Once Eminem did it, people were like, okay, the edge is not there. Now you see Snoop is doing commercials with Lee Iacocca. It's like, it's not as shocking.
I got you. Snoop and Martha.
Yeah. But that's the correct evolution.
Yes.
That's the correct.
Yes.
When you meet the gangster in the street, he's thugged out, he's standing on the corner, he'll cut your throat. When you meet the gangster who has succeeded, he's spraying his rose bushes in his house, in his mansion somewhere, walking around in flip-flops, chilling. There's an evolution in that. The Godfather died by his grandson spraying him with that aggression is only necessary till you can get above, the kill zone. When I saw Bobby Shmurda, I knew that shit was real.
Yeah.
I said, that's that age bracket. That's that I don't give a fuck. And that Bobby Shmurda and them was, I guess, when Keeping It Real goes wrong. But I knew it. When I first seen him, I said, them little niggas will shoot you. Them little niggas shoot you. Because they don't have enough to care. They don't have enough to worry about anything. Now, okay, look, you got the house, you got the car, you got the kids. The other night, I come out of a club. I never, ever, ever have any problems. Some dude says some shit out the way. I'm like, really, motherfucker? You really feel that you could talk? He's like, yeah. And I said, I should smack the shit out of you. He said, if you do, I'm just gonna stand here and sue you. And at that moment, he let me know that, yo, Ice, you're at a disadvantage with these pussy motherfuckers right now. You need to get your ass in the car. It's kind of like you're gonna stop your rolls and fight the guy on the bus stop.
Right.
But I had to check myself because the old Ice-T was about to reach up in his mouth. I was about to let this motherfucker know what it was, but I had to just recalibrate because I am not the same person now. I have a lot more things on the table. But that guy that ain't got nothing on the table will break you the fuck off. You know? So, hey, I'm not a hater, but I'm more of a rap purist. I like lyrics. I am a lyricist, so I look for lyrical quality. I look for content when I judge a rapper.
Right.
That's why I'll say Lupe Fiasco. That's why I like Young Jeezy. I remember when I listened to Young Jeezy, he says, one of his lyrics, he says, Lord, please don't let me go to jail tonight. I was like, oh, that's a real lyric right there. I know that feeling. So, and always my rappers, I always like were people I wanted to meet and hang out with. Like if I like you, I wanted to roll with Rakim. I wanted to be around him. I wanted to, and a lot of these cats, I'm like, nah, I'm cool.
In your film that you directed that was dope, like Rakim, like I met him one time and like you might have hung out with him 100 times.
Yeah.
But for fans,
Right.
like he was like, you never fucking saw him. There was no Instagram. He probably to this day doesn't have an Instagram.
No, the God is not with all that.
What is it about his music that, like, when people say favorite MCs to me, I say Rakim. It's either Rakim, Kane, or KRS, and then I'll throw in Jay-Z or Nas or Biggie.
Rakim is like the Miles Davis of rap. Rakim is that guy. He's just a true musician. You know, he showed you how he would break the music down, the bars. You know, Stevie Blas, his brother, that played piano. Those guys are true musicians. So he not only just started rapping, he figured a way to rap more connected to the music. Like he would count the bars and his flow. I don't even think we used the term flow before Rakim. You know, that the way the words just floated over the tracks, and it was like, and then he was just like, it was like algebra. When you listen to lyrics of Fury and stuff like that, it's like, you know, and then also it was cinematic, you know. This is a warning, you know, poets are paranoid, DJs destroyed. Like, it was not just normal rapping. And, you know, I'll take you on a walk through hell, freeze your dome and watch your eyeballs swell, guide you out of triple stage darkness. Who the fuck raps like that? You know, so everybody would take it to another level. Same way Slick Rick took storytelling to another level. So, you know, some people are just heavy like that, you know. And Ra is that. I tell you a Rakim story.
Please.
Right? So one time we were on tour, so we had all left out and partying at night, and then Ra would never leave his room, right?
He was always on that shit, like low-key shit.
Low-key. So we come back to the hotel, and Ra's standing in the lobby with all his jewels on, but like in a robe, like just standing there. And we like, yo, Rob, what's happening? He goes, fire alarm, son. And we like, word? He said, you didn't hear it? We like, no. He said, you burnt up.
That's crazy.
You burnt. So the nigga was like, got his jewelry on, like went down, was just chilling, waiting till the fire alarm went off, and then I guess
That's fucking crazy. So Rakim, when he came down for the fire alarm with the jewels on.
Of course.
That's crazy.
And we were out.
That's a crazy fucking visual.
We were out, so we come in and the nigga standing in the lobby like, and then one time we were doing a show and somebody had got fucked up and they were dragging him out the back and he was bleeding and shit and Rob was standing there and he goes, yo, Rakim, I love you. Yo, man, I came to see you, man. They got stuck at that. And then Rob looked at him and says, tend to that, troop. Like just a couple words, like tend to that, like you bleeding, cuz. But you know, I think every rapper I ever met knew I was a real fan of theirs, and so that was paid back to me with respect. You know, I don't know. I mean, it's not just rap. It's the entire music industry that's in a very weird place as far as, you put out a record, you used to make mailbox money. I would you sell 500,000 records right out the gate. Now, if you could move 50,000 records, people are like, well, that's incredible. Now you can go gold and platinum from streaming.
Right.
I don't understand it.
I don't understand it either.
When you play Spotify, you get
They've monetized it though now.
you get 0.007 cents a play.
0.0, you don't even get a penny.
They figured a way to split a penny, Mike. I don't know what the fuck's going on. In the streets, they don't know how to break a penny down.
Hell no.
They don't pay you.
You're a married man now.
Yes, sir.
You've been all around the world.
Yes.
In your past.
Yes.
Historically.
Yeah.
Where's the most beautiful women in the world? It could be in LA. You've been all around the world.
I'd say Brazil.
Oh, man.
But they got disease. It's like you got it's the two things. You go, oh, Brazil the most beautiful, highest HIV. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. You go there and go, what the fuck, But
the asses, that whole myth
beautiful. No, it's
about
real.
asses in Brazil is real.
You ain't been?
Never been.
Don't go. If you're married, don't go. Don't go. One key of temptation is stay clear of it. You dig what I'm saying?
Or go with your wife.
Well, if you know you're an alcoholic, don't go in a bar. You dig what I'm saying? So why test it? The shit is outrageous, though. We went down there. You can't communicate.
Right.
Because they're speaking Portuguese.
It ain't Spanish.
So we go down there with Body Count back in the day. And my boy is Honduras. Evil E, my DJ. He's Honduras. So we thought he could talk. We quickly found out he was worthless. So he went from very important to get the fuck. So we're on the beach. Here's a Brazil story. We're on the beach and we're looking at, ass and shit. And we're like, damn. And then we hear this guy go, horrible, horrible. Who the fuck's saying horrible? So we walk up and it's this black gay dude in a purple lame, bikini bottom. He's like, horrible. We like, well, you're not horrible. These some badass women. Oh, no, I know where all the beautiful women are. We like, what? You speak Portuguese? He goes, yeah, da-da-da-da-da. So immediately, once we found out he spoke English and Portuguese, he became our translator. In one split second, he had every laminate, Body Count T-shirt, hat, everything on. We're like, you're with us. And he basically took us to some of the wildest shit that's ever been. It was so great in Brazil, we actually had to create, I might get some guys in trouble, but a few phantom shows that never really happened so we could stay. I was like, yeah, why don't we just call home and tell her we got another couple shows down here so we could stay. But we had a blast in Brazil. It was amazing, but it's definitely a place for a single person. We met this one white dude down there. He was like, Ice-T, what's up? Joey, I make up a name, Joey Macaroni. I've been down here 20 years on the lam. So it's another good place to go if you ever catch a body.
Right. They got it all down here.
Man. It's but you can't communicate. So it's a rough ride for a guy like me who likes to talk. They're like, we can't talk, just give me money.
Right. That's it.
Flavor Flav says the beauty of Brazil is every woman is their own job.
That's it. They're independent contractors for real.
Yeah. It's definitely a beautiful place.
I want to hear your insight on this. When we were growing up in New York, there was no gangs here in New York.
Right.
And then Los Angeles and hip hop and colors and Boys in the Hood and the endless, DJ Quick and, NWA. Yeah. And now literally like in the hoods, there's Bloods, there's Crips. Is this affiliated with what you call Los Angeles gang culture? Is this just like a tag along? What is going on with these Bloods and Crips across the country? Is it anointed? Like what?
It's a lot of different angles to it. There's Bloods out here, a lot happened in the prison system up here because it was basically LA Blood members starting Bloods in the prisons out here. There's Crips out here, people connected to Crips. It's interesting. I can give you a lot of answers. One is LA has transformed in its gang culture. Right now, it's Crips on Crips, Bloods on Blood. It's set gang banging. It doesn't matter. The 60s is fighting the A-Trays and it doesn't matter. So being a Blood or a Crip, it doesn't really matter. It's set politics.
And you say set, that means like in between, like it's like block, it's like smaller.
Yes.
Smaller factions.
All right, let's break LA gangs down real quick for just people that don't know anything about. LA gangs had two major gangs, Crips and the Bloods. Anything that's not a Crip is a Blood. So all Crip gangs would be basically followed by Crip. Block Crips, A-Tray Gangster Crips, Hoover Crips, Rolling 60 Crips, Neighborhood Crips, Mansfield Crips. They'll all say Crip. Anything that's not a Crip is a Blood. So Inglewood Family, Denver Lanes, Bounty Hunters, Pyrus, Bloodstone Villains. They don't say Bloods. They're just not Crips. So they're Blood gang. Okay. The reason they call them Bloods is Crip would tell, when I would talk to you, I would say, cuz, have our left ear pierced. They Crip their right ear. We put the rag in the left hand pocket, right. Okay, now, the Bloods were originally the Brims. Like in the rhyme I said, the Crips are the Brims. But now, because they refer to you as Blood, they adopted the name the Bloods. So that's where you got red and you got blue. Now, back in the cocaine days, there was a separation where the Crips was on site with the Bloods, meaning anything red on site we take off on. It's just how the Blood, the Crip and Blood thing. Once the crack era hit, which was way back.
As the cops come.
Yeah, they're coming.
One time.
Once the crack era hit, which was the 80s, early 90s, the gangs started to splinter. So the sets started to divide up. So due to the fact we're part of the East Side New York Crips, whatever, we're the East Side of New York, right, man, Manhattan Crips. Mike says, fuck these motherfuckers, man. I got the sack. We turn into Rapaport Crips. We splinter. Now the sets start to break up into little and smaller sets, and they're fighting each other because it's drugs. Now, how did the gangs migrate? Well, cocaine stopped coming through Miami and it started coming through Mexico. And it was coming into Cali at a real low price. Though a key of coke was 3 times cheaper in LA than it was in New York. Now, what we got to do is we got to take the game on the road. Now, I'm going to speak on this stuff kind of broadly because, that's part of the game. We don't give up. You don't talk too much. That's how you stay around as long as I have. But basically, every guy in LA, every gang member had a cousin somewhere else. Say Seattle. So you send them up there with the sack because now we tripling our money, and you turn out Seattle, meaning you take a group of cats, you say, well, God, guess what? Now y'all Harlem Crips. They not from Harlem Crip, but I'm from Harlem Crip. So I turn them out, maybe show them some violence they've never been seen before, LA style shit. And then we bring shooters in from LA and let them handle their business and get back on a cheap flight. And now that's where you start to get gang sets morphing out into different areas. Most of the gangs that are across the country are basically drug operations. Now, when you come to New York and you see the gangs, they gangs, but they not gang banging. They not shooting at each other on sight like it is in LA. So it's a little bit different. It's like they repping it, but they not at war.
Right.
Now, at New York don't want a LA gang war neither. So what we did in LA in 92 when we had the truce was we said, look, you can still rep your hood. You can still be a gangbanger or whatever, but just don't bang. We call it set trip. Don't start any unnecessary beef. Operate as your set, but don't. Also, the Mexicans started to basically move into South Central, so the black gangs had to kind of handle their business in a different way. Now, there's more Mexican gangs in LA than anything because there's more. So you got 18th Street, Harpies, you got all the different. 18th Street's probably the biggest gang. Look, gang shit is real, and gangbangers aren't really you're not making records. You're actually acting in a organization. They're not clubs.
Right.
You deal with them delicately, and they operating to serve their purpose, whatever that might be. I've been all over the country and run into different gangs and stuff like that. I'm just like, but it's strange. I mean, for LA, if I'm in St. Louis and you tell me you're a Hoover Crip, I'm like, have you ever even been on that street? That's a street, Piru is a street. Like, have you ever been there? So it's odd, but you don't want to promote that shit too much. It's just wild. It's kind of like out of my hands. Did I promote it? I don't know. Did I explain it? Did I try to break it down? That's why, as much as I can now, I'm telling motherfuckers like, look, man, the best hustle is the legit hustle. You don't want to go to penitentiary. You got to figure a way out for your family and your friends. You got to do something with your life. When you're 19, 20, 25, you think that's all that matters.
Right.
But, once you get locked up, I got guys right now, like my guys are in Pelicans Bay. They're in High Desert Prison, Supermax, gangbangers, refuse to deprogram and go to a lower level yard, and they just gonna bang the rest of the way out. They high powered Crip modules, and that's just what they is. That's the life they chose. And I'm just like, yeah, I got you, but that's not my life. And then they talk to me like, Ice, you got another path, man. Stay the course. Stay the course. This is life I chose. I'm your motherfucker in here, Ice. That's who I am. This is my area. I got this. You dig? But one of my buddies, one of my close friends, I ain't gonna say his name, but he's like one of my best friends, and he's in there. He got life. What they call the LWOP, life without possibility parole. The WOP.
Damn.
Life without possibility. And he gets on the phone with my son, Lil Ice, and he says, yo, Ice, if I ever hear you behind these walls, I'll have you killed. That's his uncle. So Lil Ice tells me, yo, yeah, he just threatened my life. And I was like, okay. And then I got on the phone with him. I said, thank you.
You told him thank you.
Because, what's more a deterrent to not going to jail, to have somebody say, and when he said it, if I ever find out you're behind any of these walls.
He told him across this country.
I'll have you killed. So I was like, yo, but with an unusual enemy, you have to use unusual tactics.
Right. Yo, Ice-T, I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. One of the most distinct voices. I don't even need to, all you got to do is just listen. You go, oh shit, that's Ice-T. One of the most distinct voices in pop culture history. Appreciate you coming rocking with me. I'm gonna walk you downstairs, make sure the car didn't get towed, and do a ticket.
Yo, shit, anything can happen to anybody at any time. Like, when you park your car, don't just a rope just go around it and angels. No, they'll tow my shit.
You're good in New York though. I mean, you the cops. I mean, fucking Law Order SVU. It's like, I mean, when I did Law Order SVU, I did one episode of the show.
Yeah,
and it lives forever. You've done how many episodes?
Over 400. But you know what, Mike? It's a 50-50 shot. Celebrity, how cops are. Some of them are going to show you love, and others are going to try to prove that you're not.
You're just a regular. But New York cops, I
got love for New York cops. They're more human because they walk the beat. They talk to people. Most of them are overweight, so they don't want to chase you. They just kind of cool, and like I said, man, I'm not out here trying to make enemies, man. I'm just trying to express my viewpoints and live to tell. That's it.
I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. Thank you, my man.